I absolutely love better crystal clear audio. All courtesy to Drunken Who, Sonic Rose, and Vizuvizat. Thank you guys so much for the patrons. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Also, thanks to the fan arts by B08 and Rich Jammer. You guys are also fantastic. Now, I've talked about the Dead or Alive Extreme 3 literally being a sexual assault simulator, and it seems like the craze of virtual assault has been coming in for the past couple of months. For some reason. I mean, damn. The articles about people getting sexually harassed in VR is just mind-boggling. You know what kind of articles that I would write in that time? I would whine about not getting a VR. I mean, you guys are getting freaking sexually harassed in VR, and I don't get a VR. So whatever kind of first world problems you're complaining in there, I cannot relate to you. I am so sorry. I mean, not that I want a VR anyway. I've tried VR before, and it's not for me. So, these people whining in freaking VR, never mind. Anyway, I'm gonna read to one of the first world problems that these freaking aristocrats in their ivory towers have. Playing online and receiving virtual assault from VR. This is about as first world problems as you can get. I'm a pleb who had to save up his Patreon money to get a new mic. Mic.com, so I cannot have any forms of way relate to whatever kind of first world problems you have.
A giant chicken. I must be the luckiest girl in the world.
But we're just gonna read this melodrama and see if we can find anything funny and hilarious. My first virtual reality groping. That's the title, and I really want to power bomb myself into a nearby concrete. The Mike article is a literal copy and paste of a Medium post written by the sexual assault victim herself, Jordan Bellemere, the pen name of an M-rated lesbian fanfiction. As someone who used to write crappy fanfictions off of fanfiction.net, same name if you want to look out for me, I'm gonna judge everything you put in words as fiction, unless proven otherwise. For now, let's get reading. Last week, I was groped in virtual reality. Did you know that could happen? I didn't, but now I'm all the wiser. While visiting my brother-in-law last weekend, we decided to check out his HTC Vive, a virtual reality VR system. My husband and I stood in his home in Redwood City on an idyllic 80-degree day, the three of us taking turns on the Vive. It was my turn next. I glanced one last time around the room before strapping on a massive headset and into a world more beautiful than I could have ever imagined. Turning around 360 degrees, I reveled into a snowy medieval fortress of a game called VR, where you play an Arthur shooting down the Walking Dead. After some instruction, I found my groove with the gameplay. My bow and arrow strung taut. I let the arrow fly and it punctured a demon right through the skull. Nailed it. Never had I experienced virtual reality that felt so real. I was smitten. I never wanted to leave this world. Don't get me wrong, VR does provide you a very immersive experience, but if you're going to experience to the point where you don't want to leave the world, I think that's a little too much. Maybe that's just a hyperbole, but let's get through this. To complete the reality of my experience, my brother-in-law directed me to the top of the highest tower in the game. Now walk off the ledge, he suggested. Might as well I try. I inched closer and closer to the edge, looking out into a very convincing 100-foot drop. My fear of heights started kicking in strong. Closing my eyes, I took a single step off of the ledge, and nothing happened. I didn't fall. I was walking on air. I was God. Virtual reality had won me over, lock, stock, and barrel. Or so I thought.
Dun dun dun. Lightning.
A few minutes later, I started a new VR game and hit multiplayer mode. In multiplayer mode, other real-time players appear beside you. Every player looks nearly identical with a floating helmet, a persistent bow in one hand, and another free-floating hand. Keep that free-floating hand in the back of your mind. So, there I was shooting down zombies alongside another real-time player named Big Bro 442. Okay, stop. Who the hell uses the tag Big Bro 442? Might as well as name your gamer tag Feminist Baba Yaga.
We call him Baba Yaga. The boogeyman? Well, John wasn't exactly the boogeyman. He was the one you sent to kill the fucking boogeyman.
A little further research on Steam who uses this tag, and absolutely nobody. Of course, some of you are gonna change your name tag to this guy, which I've gotta give credit, you're putting yourself at feminist crosshair. That takes some balls. In between a wave of zombies and demons to shoot down, I was hanging out next to Big Bro 442, waiting for our next attack. Suddenly, Big Bro 442's disembodied helmet faced me dead on. His floating hand approached my body and he started to virtually rob my chest. Stop! I cried. I must have laughed from the embarrassment and the ridiculousness of the situation. Women, after all, are supposed to be cool and take any forms of sexual harassment with a laugh. But I still told him to stop. This goaded him on, and even when I turned away from him, he chased me around, making grabbing and pinching motions near my chest. Emboldened, he even shoved his hand towards my virtual crotch and began rubbing. There I was, being virtually groped in a snowy fortress with my brother-in-law and husband watching. As it progressed, my joking comments towards Big Bro 442 turned angrier and were peppered with frustrated obscenities. At first, my brother-in-law and husband laughed along with me. All they could see was the flat computer screen version of Groping. Outside the total immersive VR world, this must have looked pretty funny, and definitely not real.
Because it isn't.
Remember that little digression I told you about how the 100-foot drop looked so convincing? Yeah, guess what? The virtual groping feels just as real. Of course, you're not physically being touched, just like you're not actually 100 feet off the ground, but it's still scary as hell. My high from earlier plummeted. I went from the god who couldn't fall off a ledge to a powerless woman being chased by an avatar named Big Bro 442.
I don't know about you, lady, but this sort of thing happens. Griefing, people dicking around in online games, it happens. It's every single time. You think that you're up in the game, you jump into multiplayer, and freaking high-skilled players are going to come out and bite you in the ass and teabag you. This isn't exclusively your problem. I won't say female, because actual female gamers don't complain about this stuff. They just move on and play the game. Isn't that right? Old 9gag meme from last video.
I wasn't as experienced a player as Big Bro 442. Everywhere I ran, he appeared beside me, ready to grope as soon as the zombie wave was over. I'd had enough. With a final parting obscenity, I yanked the headset off of my face and stood back in a sunny, familiar room of my brother-in-law's home. What had just happened? I hadn't lasted 3 minutes in multiplayer without getting virtually groped.
So, let me get this straight. There are like hundreds, if not thousands of zombies who are coming right at you in VR attacking you, but you're more concerned about this one player who stalks you, this random feminist boogeyman? How about you log off of the goddamn game and just get into a different server? But that's the kind of thing that smart people do. This fanfiction writer has a fanfiction to write, but she couldn't even get past chapter 4 before she had to put her series on hiatus. That sounds awfully familiar.
Life is fail.
What's worse is that it felt real, violating. This sounds ludicrous to anyone who hasn't stood on that virtual reality ledge and looked down. But if you have, you might start to understand. The public virtual chasing and groping happened a full week ago, and I'm still thinking about it.
Oh, get a grip, lady. I've been through virtual reality. Horror virtual reality, actually. I'm terrorized on all sides by goddamn ghosts and freaking giant colored Stay Puffs. I forgot what that game was. It was in smartphone. And you're telling me that you have PTSD even though you're the one who actually owns the goddamn hardware while I have to do it in a free trial? How high have we have gone through in the levels of first world problems? I got groped in VR, said the privileged pure-blooded aristocrats off of Silicon Valley living in their glorious Ivy Tower, having access to HTC 5 that costed like $800+. I am here struggling to get 30 FPS on freaking Cluster Truck. How about you take those first world whining and go screw yourself?
Your mama was a snowblower.
Now that the shock has mostly worn off, I'm faced instead with the residual question about the unbridled misogyny that spawns.
Unbridled misogyny. Listen, feminist. I'm gonna take a video from Fail Army to demonstrate you what happens if you keep on insulting people.
The fuck is this shit?
Oh, and Donald Trump is your president. These journalists, man. Like, every single time they whine about their first world problems with their expensive, high-tech, $1,000 hardwares and everything, I'm gonna put this clip from one of my favorite movies.
How can you justify destroying a $7 million mini-mall to rescue a girl whose ransom was only $25,000?
Fuck you, lady!
Good answer.
As VR becomes increasingly real, how do we decide what crosses the line from an annoyance to an actual assault?
Here, Take the VR off of your head and put it back to the table. Look around. You'll find out, oh, I'm actually not being sexually assaulted. It's just jerks being jerks in their virtual space. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, it's totally crazy. Makes me wish I had my own personal bodyguard. Maybe one with a nice six-pack.
Eventually, we're gonna need rules to tame the wild, wild west of VR multiplayer, or is this
Stop.
gonna be
Feminists are not going to ruin your games. We're gonna need rules to tame the wild, wild west. Feminists are not gonna ruin your experiences. We're gonna need rules to tame the wild, wild west. No. This is just your typical gaming multiplayer session. It's horrible, it's full of griefers, it's full of trolls. That's the risk you need to take to jump in. And guess what? Everybody got hit, not just you. Your problem is not special. Be glad that you'll be able to sane enough to write fan fictions and get reposted on a big outlet. Do you know what happens when people get so into competitive multiplayer? By the way, guys, do yourself a favor and share some of your worst online multiplayer experiences down below. Because, you know, this chick feels so entitled that she needs to share her horrible multiplayer experience. Just show to her that she's not special. You've gotten it worse. I believe that you've gotten it worse. I've gotten it worse. So go tell this chick. So, I'm going to show you another article from Mike.com about the same topic, and we're gonna have well, I don't know what we're gonna have, so let's just read through the article.
Yes, virtual reality has a sexual harassment problem. What can we do to stop it?
Excellent question. Set up the scene, please.
Women are harassed across the whole digital ecosystem. About 1 in 5 people have witnessed someone being sexually harassed online, according to a Pew Research survey from 2014, and 6% have been sexually harassed online, with 12% of Americans planning to buy a virtual reality headset in the next 6 months, according to App Goodies. Abuse in this new medium is something to be concerned about.
Define sexually harassed. I know I said I had semantics, but this is absolutely necessary.
This person just spoke to me in a sexually harassing way.
I did not.
Yeah, he did. He said, "Do you know what my name is?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "Humongous." What? Yeah.
The worst part about harassment in virtual reality is the depths that it can go to. With a sense of presence in VR, a person can invade your personal space and grope you in a way that you truly feel is real and creates a visceral reaction.
What you're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen, is first world problem, the paragraph.
Honey, you got real ugly.
In VR, the boys run the playground.
Get a Ghost Stories clip for me, please.
You're such brave, strong, handsome men. Have you accepted Jesus as your personal savior?
In a YouTube clip demonstrating Altspace VR, a computer-stimulated environment in which users can socially interact, video game critic Jed Whitaker...
Oh, Jesus Christ, Jed Whitaker. Oh, for the love of crying, he's the last person I expect to meet. Just in case you don't know, Jed Whitaker is the kind of person who will defend censorship of anime girls, attack people who are against the censorship of anime girls, while consuming anime girls. He's also the kind of person who uses his VR to watch 2 anime 15-year-olds having sex, while telling us people to not fap to anime 15-year-olds having sex. So what in the name of a strangled death claw is he doing here?
Video game critic Jed Whitaker, using a female avatar, wanders around a room and approaches 2 other users. Hello? You like it? He says. Then thrust his avatar's crotch into their faces. That's my body, he says. I'm a pretty lady.
Okay, how come every single thing done by Jed Whitaker ends up creeping me the hell out? If you're fapping to 15-year-old anime characters, go freaking nuts. Go freaking nuts. You like lolis? Fine. But if you're doing that while telling others to not fap to lolis...
You stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerve herder!
So after using an example from one guy who ironically contributes on this whole virtual assault problem, what should we do to solve all of these monstrous issues?
We need to establish an ethical code of conduct around virtual reality.
You can either be specific on these ethical code of conducts, or you can take them and shove it down your throat.
I spoke to AltSpace VR, a pioneer in the social VR space, regarding some of its users coming out with tales of harassment in the space, as Fusion recently reported. Defamation, harassment, intolerance, cyberbullying, and lewd or unwanted advances go against AltSpace VR community standards, resulting in the suspension or termination of user account, but the team agrees that new features will need to be persistently considered.
So, you can report the players. There you go. Do it! Do it!
Do it! Just do it!
Do it instead of writing an entire freaking fanfiction off of Medium. I mean, there's no indication that you ended the entire thing by reporting this entire thing. Wouldn't it be a smart move if you do so? Wouldn't it be a smart move if you just report this goddamn feminist boogeyman?
For men, empathy matters.
Yes, but not to those that claim that they're being sexually assaulted in VR. How high of a first world problem level that you need to be? Jesus.
I hate all these damn rich people.
The developers, researchers, and gamers I spoke with all had mostly positive things to say about virtual reality. They've talked about the excitement of being able to wave that, hug, and high-five the other users. Roma also discussed the positive, uplifting feeling of a closeness you feel in virtual reality that is unlike any other digital medium. Perhaps this feeling of togetherness can translate into a more positive experience. Maybe the first step is empathy, the recognition that the avatar next to you is also human. What may feel like a joke to someone in their living room might feel like an unwanted sexual interaction for the receiving end hundreds of miles away.
Listen, people love to screw around, especially online. That's just the reality of the situation. And by the way, you're not the only one who got hit. Everybody gets hit with all of these, but you have the privilege to whine about it on freaking Mick. You don't like it? Do yourself a favor and quit the game. In fact, just quit real life entirely. I doubt that your mental health is prepared for it. If you cannot handle freaking grievers in an online game to the point where you have to write a fan fiction about it, I doubt you'll be successful handling 2017, where Donald Trump is your president.
Not my president!
Not my president!
I messaged Jed Whitaker on Twitter about his humping incident on YouTube. After rewatching it, he told me, I can see how this could be seen as harassment, and in hindsight, it wasn't the best action for me to take. Be it with them, hearing me or not.
But watching two anime 15-year-olds having sex in virtual reality is totally fine. Jesus Christ, Jed. Look, what you're doing in VR is your business. I find it creepy, but that's your business. You love to grieve people, you love to troll people, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. You have all the rights to do that. But don't ever do that when you claim...
He added, I'm outspoken for feminism, safe spaces, and LGBTQIA rights, and disappointed that this happened.
No! You made everybody's space uncomfortable with your own actions. No safe space can be created with your existence. You're outspoken for feminism and safe spaces. These two things are 10 times better off without you. Quit real life, Jed, now.
Shut the fuck up. You're a fucking cunt.
Whitaker has, in fact, been outspoken about the need to curb harassment in gaming. We need safe spaces, not just from the hateful messages, but emotes and assholes humping your corpse, he wrote in Destructory in December 2015.
We need safe spaces set by a man who shoves his crotch to people in VR. These people just cannot practice what they preach, can't they? Again, feel free to be a jerk in VR, but doing all of that while claiming that you're all for safe space is monstrously hypocritical and incredibly disingenuous. You're up to fapping an anime 15-year-old having sex? Fine. Your business. You're criticizing others on fapping an anime 15-year-old having sex? How about you look at yourself in the goddamn mirror and shoot yourself? You're only contributing to the problems that you're complaining, so you're better off stop complaining or you're better off dead.
You are physically repulsive, intellectually retarded, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
There is no such thing as a public digital space void of online abuse. Where there is internet, there will be trolls. But as more and more users flood this new visual medium, they need to know what's acceptable and what's harassment.
And who gets to judge the entire thing? You? Why? Just because you have a position writing at Mick? So you're not only privileged, but you're also entitled. Why am I not surprised?
As Whitaker himself tweeted, developers really need to consider the safety of users.
Wait. Distort. Replace the word developer with the word I.
As Whitaker himself tweeted, I really need to consider the safety of users with options to prevent harassment.
It works! It works! Oh my god, it freaking works! Jesus Christ. These people are projecting so much to the point where you can replace the freaking pronouns and it would still be accurate. Oh my god. This is astonishing. So, there you go. People getting triggered over freaking VR. Top class first world problem as you can get. I wonder what these people will do when they get Dead or Alive Extreme 3. You know, I think I could just recommend one good game that the feminists can play. Rocket League. Yeah, Rocket League, it's a soccer game, but you use cars. It's a freaking awesome game to play. There surely won't be any sorts of sexual harassment in the game. Oh, fuck off! Get it, center. Frick me over, that was amazing. Oh, close right there, bitch. Close right there, bitch. I'm scoring, bitch. I'm scoring, bitch. I'm scoring, bitch. Holy freaking shit. So there you have it. A little bit of Rocket League. Do you seriously think that this game is going to like incite some form of sexual harassment? I apologize for the 10 FPS on there. Just painful to watch, but let me assure you that will not happen unless you donate to me on my Patreon and actually get me an actual legit laptop, gaming laptop. Just kidding, don't do actually that. Anyway, that's all for the video today, guys. If you like this, you can go ahead and click the like button and subscribe for more if you wish. You can support me on Patreon, and thanks for watching.